Knicks fans, welcome to another episode of Delusional Knicks Fan Network, where we bring you that Knicks content that you need. On today's episode, we are talking about how the Knicks had a chance to go and get Paul George. Apparently, just like the New York City rent, it is too expensive to bring Paul George here in a Knicks uniform. Apparently, the Clippers was asking for Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, and Quentin Grimes, along with 3 first-round draft picks. I'm assuming they're probably unprotected, draft picks. And kudos to the Knicks for not going for that. Kudos for them to reject that trade. As you know, going for Paul George can be a risk, even though he averaged 23 points last year off of 6 rebounds and 5 assists, also shooting 45% from the field. That's all-star type numbers. That'd be beneficial numbers if he was here on the Knicks, adding to Brunson and Julius Randle. But you also need to take into consideration he is 33. So he will probably be the oldest Knick on the team. As well as the fact that he only played, I believe, roughly 50-something games last year, as it was 56 last year. The year before that, 31. The year before that, 54, then 48. As he does not play full, roughly 70 or 65 games per year. And all we know regarding Tibbs, your availability is your best asset. Your durability is the best asset playing under Tibbs. He's going to play you roughly 38 to 39 minutes a game if you are a star on that team. And if we do add Paul George, which we know will not happen, he will be playing tons of minutes for the Knicks. As much as I would have loved Paul George on his team, like I said, he could have added a spectacular, dynamic, trio to that roster. Two-way player, able to put the ball on the floor, as I stated, shooting 45% from the field, a great three-point shooter, someone who's able to play defense. He's a bigger wing, which we know that's something that the Knicks lack. He is legit all 6'8", pause. And it would have been crucial. He can lock up, play defense on his own. He can switch from the 1, 2, and 3, and even 4s. So that would have been awesome to add him with Tibbs, and how we could have played with DiVincenzo, with Hart, and Grimes. We could play the smaller lineup. If Julius could be at the 5, then you could have had him at the 4, and Hart at the 3, DiVincenzo at the 2, and Brunson at the 1. There's so much you could have done with just adding Paul George alone. But then he also wanted an extension that would have gave him 4 years, $220 million. And that's something that the Knicks are not trying to add. You got to look at all the players that the Knicks added. Barrett only got, I believe, 107. Brunson, 100. Julius was around 100. So all these guys are kind of underpaid. CAA is running a masterclass as far as bringing in players on a cheaper scale, whether it's an ascending contract. Adding Paul George would definitely just destroy all that aspect. We literally brought in Dante DiVincenzo for $12.5 million each year for 4 years. That's a steal regarding what he's done and what he can do, and his attributes. So shout out to the Knicks on declining that Paul George trade, because in the past we would have pulled the trigger on that and would have been stuck with all that money and a player that's going to have been injury prone and not able to play. So let me know in the comments, do you think the Knicks made the right decision on not making that trade, or the Knicks should have took the risk and bringing Paul George on here? Can potentially have been one of the top teams in the East. But if he would have played, or if he stayed healthy, we would never know. But leave that in the comments and tune in to the next episode. Deuces.
You gon' do it if I say so. I'ma do it for the pesos. I fell in love with the bass load. I fell in love with the bass load. See the ops.